Hey everyone, we are continuing the series with Mike Georgie from the Nexus Group LLC, all around entities and LLCs and trusts and all these questions that all of you have asked me over the years, and I just flat out don't answer because I believe it is malpractice for somebody on the internet who doesn't know your situation, hasn't asked you a dozen questions to give you advice. Hence the relationship with the Nexus Group. I was at a real estate meetup, like what they had to say. We've now done 6 videos together, and I'm happy to say we don't always agree, but I like what they have to say. So, Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much, Mike. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. Do me a favor. I've failed a couple of times to list how you want people to get a hold of them. I know we're going to have a link in the description below that they can click on. But if somebody wants to watch this and reach out to the Nexus Group by phone, how can they do that?
They can go ahead and give us a call. The telephone number is 877-713-8001. Again, that's 877-713-8001. Also, you can go to our website, like Mike was saying, through the link, and there's a book now or schedule a consultation. You definitely can use those links, and make sure you mention Mike Zuber's name, because we do have a special giveaway for you that normally costs couple $100, $200-300. So
Yeah.
definitely mention Mike Zuber.
Yeah, go back and watch video number 4 or 5. We talk about it. It's a great asset. You get that immediately with the link in the description below. But if you are in a hurry, you're in an urgent nature, call them, mention my name, or one rental at a time, I'm sure will work also. So you get those extras. And we thank you for watching. So today's topic is one that I was waiting for. This is one I knew we were going to get to while we kind of lay the groundwork with the first 6 is, what are all the requirements that real estate investors need to realize they have to do once they're setting up an LLC? And let me paint you a picture. And I see this so often. They go to a meetup, they go to a Saturday event, they get all excited, as we talked about, I think in video 1 or 2, and they think an LLC is the first step, which I came out and said, probably not for most of you, but let's just say they do that. They set it up, they get some creative name, they get some business cards made, and they think they're done. I don't think most people realize the infrastructure, the checks and balances that you must do to make sure that LLC stays its own entity and they can't pierce the corporate veil and all those things. So can you give them an outline of all the things they need to realize they should get ready for? And it's just more point, in my opinion, that, you know what, setting up an LLC might not be the right thing for most early investors. What do you think, Mike?
Absolutely. So we went over the criteria on, why a real estate investor and when a real estate investor should have set up an LLC. And let's say they went ahead and, like you said, they went to a meetup, they went to a rah-rah type of convention, and they're like, you know what, I can set up an LLC all on my own. Or they went to, one of those online incorporation companies. Their whole sole purpose is to sell you an entity so they can make some money. And so they set up the entity themselves, or they got someone to go ahead and file it at the state. They pick out a name, they got some business card, and they think they're done. They are not done, definitely not, especially in the initial setup phase. There's a lot of different things you need to do. So the first thing after you actually file your articles, and let's be specific to California real quick, the first thing after you file your articles is you actually have to file your list of managers and or members. So a lot of people don't do that, and what happens is when you don't file your initial list of members and managers, the entity isn't even legal. And it's not even legal at the state level. So step 1, go ahead and file your list of members and managers at the state level. Once that's completed, you need to go ahead and make sure that you do what's called an operating agreement. An operating agreement is basically analogous to bylaws. And what an operating agreement has is how the company is going to operate, under what rules, under what regulations, in what situations are they going to do different types of actions. Are there many members? What was the capitalization? How did the stocks, and we'll talk about this, how did the membership interest get issued? So the operating agreement has a lot of different information that you absolutely 100% need, especially if you're going to be compliant and you're going to meet all the regular, regulatory body compliance checkpoints, basically. So 1, file your list of members, managers. 2, make sure you have an operating agreement. 3, get an EIN number. An EIN number is basically like the social security number of the company itself. An EIN stands for Employment Identification Number. you actually can get this right online. If you don't have it and you don't call us, because we will help walk you through it directly with a screen share, you actually just go ahead and type into Google file online SS4. It will take you to an irs.gov website to where you can file your EIN and get your EIN number in about 5 minutes. And so one of the tests, the 5 tests to have a legitimate business, is making sure you have your EIN number. So that's definitely one of them. The next step is making sure that you do your initial resolution. So that initial resolution, unlike the operating agreement, which helps you identify and delineate the operating and rules and regulations in which you're going to exist under, the initial resolution outlines who's going to be able to open a bank account, who's going to be able to have the authority to direct certain types of business endeavors, who's going to be able to make sure that everything is created, processed, put into the minute book, etc. And so you definitely need that initial resolution, because without it, you haven't authorized anyone to do anything. And if you haven't authorized anyone to do anything and you're buying property in the LLC, technically aren't you directing the, aren't you the person who's actually saying, let's buy the property instead of the LLC? Now, I want to make a important distinction there, because what you need to have when you have an LLC is you have to have what's called a corporate veil, and you have to have separation between the entity and yourself. And so a lot of that separation comes from making sure that your corporate minutes and resolutions, just like this initial resolution, are in place. And if they're not in place, what's going to happen is that you're now going to be basically have an alter ego of yourself as the company, which means the company is you and you are the company. And if anything happens, you're definitely going to have an issue, meaning if you are sued, if the entity goes bankrupt, if there's any predatory litigation, those types of things, they're going to go right through that corporate veil like a hot knife through butter, and they're going to attack you personally. Finally, pretty much the last step in making sure after you set up your initial company and you get going initially is complete, is you really need what's called a corporate minute book. And so basically the corporate minute book is the company soup to nuts. It basically holds your filed articles, your initial list, your EIN number, your operating agreement, your initial resolutions. The other thing that it has is what's called a member roll call. At the very end of your corporate minute book, whether you have an LLC, you have what's called the member roll call. And you need to go ahead and outline who's a member, how much they paid, when they paid it, the membership certificate that they're going to be issued. Okay, so you fill all of that out. You have them sign it. If there's more than one member, you have all the members sign it. And then after that, you actually issue the membership interest, the membership certificate. Now, I'm going to tell you about 100% of the people on this video, maybe 99% of them, have not completed that last stage. Absolutely haven't. And so what happens is someone gets into a litigation situation. They've done everything up to that last part, and the attorney says, okay, well, let me see your corporate minute book, or let me see your corporate resolutions. You slide it over the table confidently, you feel good about everything, and then all of a sudden the attorney says, aha, they never issued the membership certificates. This is not a company. It was never actually owned by anyone. You've been doing these activities on your own, and the LLC is an alter ego of yourself. And once again, now all the work you've done, everything you've put into it, all the time and money you've spent on it mean nothing. Yeah. And because you didn't do that last step or the steps leading up to what we were just talking about. And so if you've gone out and you said, you know, I researched it, I know exactly how to do it at the state, I went ahead and filed my entity, God, I'm done. Well, you're not. Make sure you follow those steps, because if you don't, you're going to run into issues potentially along the way. And we want to make sure that you don't have those problems.
Yeah, again, this was a topic I knew we had to discuss. Again, as I've said now, probably in half the videos, the real estate investing industry and the gurus and people talking from stage, you know, just get people excited. They kind of paint a vision of something to do. They get them to that point. They get their excitement. They create an LLC, get the business cards, and they think they're done. And that's, you know, that's like step 0, maybe step 1. Again, I would challenge you to go back and listen to this video again. I would listen to Mike's kind of clear explanation. Most of the real estate investors I know aren't doing half or haven't done half of what you outlined. And if that's the case, have you done anything? You haven't. This whole liability, spreading out, you're not doing it. You've accomplished nothing. You feel better. You maybe have some anonymity, maybe, right? Because it's held in the title, but that's like a land trust. You still have most people are doing LLCs not for anonymity. That's not what it's for. Most of them are following somebody's talking head on TV or YouTube and going, oh, I need an LLC. So if I get sued, I don't get in trouble. Well, kinda. There are so many other things. So go back, listen to this again. If you want to talk to someone about what you've done already, use the link below, schedule your appointment because they can help you audit it. If you're looking about setting one up, use the link below because you need someone to help you. Lots of people selling LLC work just want to get to step one and they've done nothing for you. They run away, they collect their couple $100 and you've done nothing. You've just lit money on fire. So don't do that. Mike, I think you nailed that one. Anything you want to do on a close? Maybe give your phone number one more time if somebody wants to call you.
Yeah, and real quick, I just wanted to go over the reason why the Nexus Group exists. Mm-hmm. We found that exactly what Mike said, and he knows. He's been a real estate investor, a guru, author for a long time now, and he knows that the people he comes in contact with don't do these things. Yeah. And even seasoned investors and people who really know what they're doing. And so the Nexus Group actually sets up LLCs and corporations for free, and we help you do every single one of those steps for free at zero cost. A lot of companies will charge you $75 to get your EIN number. Yeah. Not us. We're just going to get it for you. Right. It takes 5 seconds. And so what the Nexus Group really is focused on is making sure you're set up correctly, and number one, you need the entity. Number two, if you do, that you're set up correctly and that you meet all of those requirements, because without those, you're not going to have any benefit whatsoever. So definitely give us a call. We'll give you the correct and true information that we believe is great for you and necessary for you.
Absolutely.
My telephone number, thanks, Mike. My telephone number is 877-713-8001. Again, that's 877-713-8001.
Excellent, Mike. Thank you very much. And again, if you want, use the link below, schedule now, get your free stuff. And I'm very excited how this one turned out.